January 12th, Tuesday, we are going to multiply double-digit numbers with decimals. So now we're jumping into the real fifth grade curriculum. Just multiplying double-digit numbers is something that you are expected to master in fourth grade. Like I've told you in the past, I don't expect that you've mastered it because fourth grade was weird, right? That's why it's uber important that you can multiply double-digit numbers on your own right now. Okay, and I help you gain that skill because now we're going to add skills to that skill, such as multiplying double-digit decimal numbers, and I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. So your challenge questions, you should have already knocked out of the park, right? They look very similar to yesterday, and once again, what happened to my exponent? My exponent always grows as soon as I put it on Zoom. I don't understand that. All right, so subtract mixed numbers, multiply with powers of 10, get rid of the 0, add the 0 to your answer, and then, multiplying with powers of 10, so 10 to the second power, which is not 102. And then you have your challenge question, which I want to see if you can multiply with decimals before I teach you. Can you do that with the challenge question? All right, remember, lattice method. You make your boxes. You slice your boxes from right to left. And then you place your numbers. So this is an example of 27 times 23. Now in any order at all, you fill each box. So this guy right here is 2 times 2. This one is 2 times 7. This one is 2 times 3, and this one is 7 times 3. Because whatever row and column it is in, multiply together to fill that box. So remember, 7 times 2, 2 times 2, 7 times 3, which is not accurate at all, and then 3 times 2. So the only thing that is wrong here is 7 times 3. See what happens when you change the example from yesterday. So 7 times 3 is 21. Now I'll have to do it all manual. So 21, 14 is right, 4 is right, and 3 times 2 is right. So this is 21. So now that we're done filling in the boxes, you get rid of all the outside numbers. And now your answer just falls down. So that 1 falls down. 6 plus 2 is 8. Plus 4 is 12. And then 4 plus 2 is 6. So 27 times 23 is 621. Okay, 27, 23, 14, 4, 6, 21, 1 falls down, 8, 12, 6. Cool. All right. Now, introducing to you, my friends, how to multiply with decimals. So all you do is ignore the decimal, multiply, come up with the real answer, and then bring the decimal back. Okay? How many total digits are after the decimal? Just 1. So to get rid of the decimal, you're just going to move it 1 spot. So somewhere I'm going to put 1 to show that I got rid of it by kicking it 1 spot over. Now, let me make my face a little bit larger. Now I multiply my normal 5 times 15. You can go traditional on this one because 5 by 15, traditional gets difficult when there's more than one digit on the bottom. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So that answer is 75. And now all we have to do is bring the decimal back. So when it was 1.5, the decimal got moved over 1, so it comes back, so there's still 1 number after it. So 5 times 1.5 is 7.5. 7 and 5 tenths. if you're like Mr. Stahl, I love that lattice method. You can do the lattice method with this as well. 1.5 has 2 digits, so there's 2 boxes, and then you're multiplying that by 5, so 5's on the end. Now you just have your lines go over, and then 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 falls down, 7 falls down. Answer 75, and then bring back the decimal 1 spot. That answer is 7.5. And then the way you can make sure you put the decimal in the right spot is just kind of estimate. 1 and 5/10 is close to 2. 5 times 2 is 10. So 7.5 is close to 10. We're good there. Let's try another one. So the first thing that we have to do is ignore the decimals or kick it over to the curve. So to kick this one over and turn it into a whole number of 25, you kick it over 1 spot, kicking this over 1 spot. So how many total numbers are after decimals? 2. So we are going to find an answer and then make sure there's still 2 digits after the decimals. So ignoring the decimal, you have 2.5, which is 25, 1.5, which is 15. Make our box. Slice it in the corners. Now come up with an answer. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10. Get rid of all of our digits on the outside because we only needed them to fill in the boxes. And now the 5 falls down. 5 plus 2 plus nothing is 7. 0 plus 2 plus 1 is 3. So that answer is 375. But remember, it had a decimal in it. How many? Oh, 2. So we got to make sure that there's still 2 digits after the decimal. That answer is 3.75. And then we just have to check to see if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Well, 2.5 is like 3. 1.5 is like 2. 3, this is like 3. It's close to 3. That's close to 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. Is 3.75 kind of close to 6? Yeah. Yeah, it's smaller than 6 because when we estimated, we rounded both up. So good stuff there. Now, let's jump into your math books. In your math book, we're on page 157 for Unit 4, Lesson 6. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my teacher power to say, I don't like these 2 pages. I think these 2 pages make students cry a little bit. So what I'm going to say is, skip them. Skip 157 and 158. We don't need to cry. There's no crying in math, multiplying by decimals. So instead, we just remember the rules of how many digits are after decimals, ignore the decimal, find the answer, and make sure that there's that many digits after. What I've always said is kick it to the curve, multiply, bring it back from the curve. So what we are going to do is we're going to work on 9 through 26. I'm going to complete all in blue, and then you are going to complete all the problems that are in black. And that will be your homework. Okie dokie. Here we go. 0.8 times 6. And you are obviously expected to write these down. So 0.8. Oh yeah, I ignore the decimal. So when I kick it over, I kicked over 1 spot. Now I have 0.8 times 6. Well, 0.8 is 8. And 8 times 6 is 6, 12. That's 12, and this is 24. And if this is 24, this is 48. So 8 times 6 is 48. So if our answer is 48, let me put it right here. I just have to bring the decimal back. I have to bring it back so there's 1 digit after it. So your answer is 4.8. Okay. Let's try this one. Get rid of the decimal. How many spots did it jump over? Only one. Now I have 40 times 3 because the 0, 3 is still just 3. I can get rid of this 0. 4 times 3 is 12. Write it here. Oh, I'm giving you a homework answer on accident. And then what I'm going to do is 40 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Bring the 0 back because it's multiplying by a power of 10. And then bring back the decimal 1 spot. So that answer is 12. That's a homework answer. Let's go to 11. Kick it over twice. 1, 2. Now I don't have a decimal anymore, which is good. Now I have 9 times 0, 0, 5. Well, 0, 0, 5 is just 5. And 9 times 5, I'll just write it right here. 9 times 5 is 45, right? But I brought the decimal over twice, so I got to bring it back twice. So the real answer is 0.45, okay? Because ignoring the decimal, I have 9 times 0, 0, 5. And 0, 0, 5 times 9 is the same thing as 9 times 5, because these zeros don't matter. So that answer is 45, and then I had to bring back the decimal twice, because that's how many times I kicked it over. What about, we have 0.43 times 64. So if I got rid of that decimal, how many spots total am I pushing it over? 2. I'm pushing it over 2 total spots. Why? Because it has to go. Because I want to remember, if I kick it over this way, it turns into 0.043. Now I have even more decimals to deal with. So what I want to do is make sure it's a whole number by kicking it over this way. 1, 2. Okay. So right now there's 2 digits after the decimal. So I'm going to write that down. 2. There's no decimal here, so I don't have to worry about that one. Now remember, I come up with the real answer of 0.43, which is just 43 times 64. And the best method for that, you use any method that works consistently. And I'm telling you right now, that will be the lattice method if you have the smallest bit of struggle with multiplication. So 43 times 64. 43 times 64. 6 times 3 is 18. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 4 is 24. And then 4 times 4 is 16. The 2 falls down. 8, 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the 2. So we have 2752 as our answer, but remember, we got to bring the decimal back first. How many? Twice. So 1, 2. So that answer is 27 52/100. And remember, you could always estimate to see if your answer was correct. So 0.43 is like half. Half of 60 is 30. Is that close to 30? Yes. So we did well. All right. Looking at 15. 15, you don't have to use a lattice method because when you move the decimal over, you're moving it over 1 spot. So somewhere you want to write the number 1 so you know. And then you get 333 times just 7. And remember, in multiplication, you could go any order because it doesn't change. Notice I said 333 times 7 instead of 7 times 333. It doesn't change anything to change the order. So 333 times 7. Oh, I could just use the traditional method on that. 333 times 7. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 3 is 21 plus 2 is 21, 22, 23. 21, 22, 23. So that answer is 2331, 2,331. But remember, I had a decimal that moved over 1. The 0.7, I moved it over 1, so I have to bring it back 1 spot. 233 and 1/10. So your answer is 233 and 1/10. Let's go to number 17. So the first step is make sure that you're getting rid of the decimal. Kick it over twice. 1, 2. Now 219 times 11. 219 times 11. And like I said, right now you're still probably a little uncomfortable with the lattice method, but you will get comfortable. And then the 11's on that side. And you can go ahead and put all your lines in now, but I kind of like going one spot at a time. So 9 times 1 fills this one. That's 0, 9. 1 times 1 fills this one. That's 0, 1. 1 times 2 fills this one. That's 0, 2. 9 times 1 is 0, 9. 1 times 1 is 0, 1. And 2 times 1 is 0, 2. And now my answer just falls down. So this is what you use those slides for. 9 falls down. 9 plus 1 is 10. So the 1 gets to go down the next slide. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. And then the 2 falls down. So you have 2, 4, 0, 9. And I look up again to remind myself how many digits were after the decimal. And 0.11, there's 2 digits after the decimal. So I have to make sure that there's 2 digits after the decimal in my answer. And the answer is 24 and 9/100ths, 24.09. Let's go to 19. 19, we have to get rid of the decimal. Kick it over twice, 1, 2. We have 103 times 15. So, once again, a triple by a double. The triple is 103. The double is 15. And now I simply just fill in each. So just to show you what it looks like if you put your lines first, nothing wrong with that. And the biggest mistake people make is they don't have their line connect in the corner. If you're not connecting your line in the corner, you're going to be all sorts of confused. So just make sure that every line is hitting that corner perfectly. So 3 times 1 is 3. This whole thing's going to be 0 because anything times 0 is 0. 5 times 3 is 15. And remember, the order here doesn't matter. Just fill them in any order. And then that's 0, 5. Now, each row or lattice or slide or whatever you want to call this, the answer is going to fall down. So the first one that falls down is a 5. The second one that falls down is a 4. This one only has a 5. This one only has a 1. So your answer, and then that 0 I don't write down because you don't need it. 1, 5, 4, 5. The only zeros you wouldn't need is the one way up here. If there's a 0 anywhere around here, you have to write it down. So this is my answer. And then I got to remember how many digits were after the decimal. 2. So my answer has 2 digits after the decimal. My answer is 15 and 45/100ths. I hope you're trying these. I mean, you'll have all the evens to try on your own. So let's see here. 21. So we have a triple by a double again. Get rid of the decimal. Once you get rid of that decimal, there's 2 digits that you had to jump through. So we have 3.25 times 25. Five times 2 is 10. And I always fill in from the right to the left, but filling in, you could just go randomly, like, oh, this one I'm going to fill in. 15, because it's 5 by 3. Oh, this one I'm going to fill in. 2 by 2 is 4. Oh, this one I'm going to fill in. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 times 2 is 10. Now I'm done with these outside numbers. And then my answer is going to fall down. 5 falls down first. And then 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 6 plus 2 is 8. So my answer is 8, 1, 2, 5. And then how many? Oh, there's 2 digits after the decimal, so I have to make sure there's 2 digits after the decimal here. So it's 81 and 25 100ths. 81 and 25 100ths. 2 more. 2 more. And for a lot of you guys, this is the last piece of the puzzle that you really needed. Some of you are still really excited to work on division. But a lot of you guys, you're like, man, I've always been pretty good at math, but I never understood double-digit numbers multiplying. Well, now you're getting triple and double once you just master this lattice method. So 2.03 times 111, triple by triple. Get rid of the decimal, and then somewhere make a note of how many digits were after the decimal. 2. So we have triple by triple. Triple by triple. Looks like a Rubik's Cube. We have 203, 1, 1, 1. Simple. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Oh, all these are going to be zeros because it's 0 times 1, 0 times 1, 0 times 1. And then 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. I didn't connect that one in the corner. It might give me trouble. Let me make sure that I know that's connected in the corner. First thing that falls down, 3. 3. 5. 2. 2. How many? 2. There's 2 digits after the decimal, so I bring it back. So there's 2 digits after the decimal. 225 in 3300. 225 in 3300. Jesse wants to buy 24 angelfish. Each angelfish costs $2.35. What will be the cost of all dim angelfish? So we have multiplication. 2.35 times 24. 2.35 times 24. Five times 2 is 10. Just make sure that you throw them in each corner, and then you can put your line between them. And then 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. And now my answer is going to fall down. 0 falls down. 2 plus 2 is 4. 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 4 plus 1 is 5. My answer is 50, or I'm sorry. And then we have 2, so $2.35. There's 2 digits after the decimal. So I have to make sure there's 2 digits after the decimal. Answer is 56.4 or 56.40 or $56.40. All right. You did it. You watched the entire video. You're really starting to strengthen your understanding of lattice method, and that is going to help you out tremendously in math moving forward. Okay. The best way to get better is by continuing your practice. So try 10 through 26 on your own, and then we'll work on some of this during our live session at 10:30, and then anything that we do not complete will be homework. Alrighty? I'll see you at 10:30.